Though I very much believe that the media outlet known as the Mary Sue is indeed trash, that's not what I'm talking about today. I wanted to talk about the Mary Sue / Gary Stu archetype, because here on my channel I believe in gender equality. I feel like there needs to be a moment of getting to brass tacks when it comes to this one. I have no desire to beat around the bush. Is it just me, or does that sound like a euphemism for masturbation? Anyway, do you want to know why the Mary Sue or Gary Stu sucks? It's very simple. They never struggle. That's the long and short of it. They don't struggle. Now, some of you might ask, well, why is that necessarily a bad thing? It's very simple. We, as human beings, identify with struggle. We see it as part of our own lives because every human being, no matter how easy or difficult their life is going to have struggle at some point. As such, if you're going to try to create a character that has depth to them, struggle is going to have to be a big part of it. It defines who we are. It defines our character. How we respond to it is what's going to make us good or bad. In a sense, the response to struggle can make you a good guy or a bad guy. On top of that, it allows the audience to identify with the character on some level. Now, can I really identify that much with someone like, Amuro Ray or Eddie Brock? Not really, but having anxieties or having loss or things along those lines, that's something I can get as part of the human condition. A Mary Sue character is never going to have that. They're never going to really have any struggle. Or if some situation does come up, it's not even going to come close to hindering them. But it should. Because if it doesn't hinder them, the story's boring. Nothing of consequence happens. Take the character of, Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers, when written by Chris Claremont, was a character that had consequence happen to her. Her actions meant something, and she would pay for them. Not to mention, how she reacted to such things would define her character. When she was an alcoholic, when she was someone who struggled, when she was someone who had problems, she was a much more interesting character. Ever since then, she's had barely any struggles, and anything along those lines. In fact, you're supposed to sympathize with her when she wanted to jail a minority character for pre-crime, for God's sake. Another one is, of course, Rey from the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Nobody likes her. The reason that nobody likes her is she never struggles. Not really. She has an inferiority complex at the start that never gets explored, and is basically completely gone by the third film. It could have been something interesting, but it wasn't. Not to mention, she seems to have a ridiculous amount of power that she didn't earn, did not get through discipline, etc., etc. You compare her to someone like, Finn, and she gets considerably less interesting as it goes on. And that's the reason why people dislike these characters so much. But if you mention other characters that are out there, like an Eddie Brock, or a Peter Parker, or Casca from Berserk, or Claire Redfield from Resident Evil, you'll see that these are characters that have struggles. These are characters that go through ordeals, and they don't come through it unscathed, but they are stronger for the experience. There's growth. There's progression, because these are the things that happen when you do face hardship. If you get through it, you become stronger. You become wiser because of it. Or, if you take the easy path, you will likely do evil things in your life. This is why the Mary Sue is trash. These sorts of characters should not exist. And if a character creates a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu type character, they're a shitty writer. That's just the end of it. Characters need to lose. Characters need to have bad things happen to them. If they don't, they're just not going to be interesting. That's just the way it is. And that's all I got to say about that. My name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. I'll see you next time. Deus frickin' Volt.